Underfell is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, and first Undertale AU. But how was it created, and was it even planned to be so edgy? So, the creator fella was a fan of Undertale, as well as badass villains. So, she created once a fanart of an evil tutorial that wanted the player to go to sleep. And then, boom! The idea of an evil mob, aka an evil tutorial, was made. From there on, the creator just started going crazy. Like, they thought to themselves, what if Flowey would help Frisk get away from this evil mob and wants the player to go back to the surface and help them on this journey. And so the AU was created on October 16, 2015 by an 18-year-old fella. Later on, she would create on December 11, 2015 the first Underfell artwork picturing Underfell Toriel, making Toriel the oldest Underfell cast member. But at first, this AU wasn't called Underfell, it was called Underhell. But this name was later changed because another story, aka another game, got the name Underhell. The creator would create a lot more design Frisk and the newly found evil mom, as well as fan art with Flowey. Later on, the creator would draw with some other people the entire cast of Underfell and kept it that way, since the first draft of this AU should only be an aesthetic AU, meaning no real story, they would just look different and act different, but didn't have any story behind it. Since the creator wanted the fandom to be active and even create design for the more minor characters. But this was a mistake, because at this time the community was pretty edgy and did a lot of bad things that resulted into the edgefest Underfell is today. I mean, for Pete's sake, there exist comics where Sans is a sexual deviant. There exist comics where Frisk is kept on a leash. And worst of all, there's a comic where pə-PY-rəs and Sans have sexual relationships. And since only a few canon facts were written, because, as I was mentioning, it was just an aesthetic story, everyone believed that this was canon. And all these comics were based around Fella's creation, while Fella's creation was simply just Undertale, but Frisk having a harder time convincing everyone to be better people. So Fella, who also dealt at the time with stress, depression and life stuff, also needed to deal with too many edgelords harassing anyone who enjoyed this AU, and an outbreak of not safe for work artwork that everyone misdirected their attention instead of what the AU was supposed to be. So she shut down her blog for everyone and her own sake at the time. But during that time she shut down the blog, she thought more about the story as well as some canon facts. However, she was too embarrassed to go back because everyone kept making fun of anyone who liked this AU, which stressed out a lot of people as well as herself. It stressed her so much that she would most likely always answer with critique that the AU which she created was only just a prank or a meme AU and nothing seriously. But she tried to return to her AU a couple of times after she shut down the blog down, but she was too depressed with her own life to actually do anything in general. It wasn't until she kept receiving heartfelt messages from very kind people telling them how much this AU means to them. She thought about everyone deserved more than a radio silence of her. So she got out of her depression and started multitasking her own life and created the official design, created the official story and a lot of canon facts. But she realized that everyone can and should make their own Underfell story, and she gave the story of Underfell to the community and even encouraged the community to make their own story, own games and even own merch. As you can see, Fella is full supporting of all non-problematic takes and interpretation of Underfell and is very much enjoying them and asking fans not to send hate to AU's take and design just for going outside Fella's personal interpretation. And that was the story of Underfell's creation. I hope that you learned something here. And here's another Underfell canon video about the story of Underfell if you're interested.